Hello, this is bassist Victor Wooten, and you're watching Innerviewworld.com.
Now, a lot of times when martial artists teach you a lot of techniques, you're taught to block a certain way or to kick a certain way or what. It doesn't mean that it's wrong. It just means you're the one doing it. Okay, it's no different than like if you wore that shirt and I wore this shirt. It doesn't mean one of us is wrong.
In conjunction with your debut release for Heads Up Records, Paw Mystery, you've written the book, The Music Lesson, a spiritual search for growth through music. Like the narrator, whose name is also named Victor, did you reach a point in your development where you felt you were in need of spiritual guidance to attain your goals as a musician?
I think it was something that I just found myself in the middle of. I found myself in the middle of spiritual guidance. And I think that whenever you research anything far enough, it turns spiritual, whether you call it that or not. I mean, you can just take your emotions, and if you just describe how you feel, it can be viewed as spiritual. You know, because you have to reach outside of physical things to describe anything deeply. And so in my research and study of music, which music is nothing but an expression of feelings, then to me it's spiritual.
Who is Michael, the mysterious stranger who presents himself to you as your teacher?
Michael's everything, because music is a representation of life for me. And so anything that you learn from, anything that you're inspired by, and that could be good and bad, is summed up under the name Michael. But I will say this, the characteristics of Michael, his quirkiness, that's a real person. That is someone that I firmly, a person I really know, and I can firmly hold the vision of him in my mind. Now the things he says, the things he teaches comes from everywhere. But Michael is real.
In the book, you break down life's lessons into 10 major elements of music: notes, articulation, technique, emotion, dynamics, rhythm, tone, phrasing, space, and listening. In your opinion, how have people gotten out of sync with these elements, and how do you recommend that they put them back into their lives?
There's an easier way to play music. And the more we learn about music, the further we get away from that easy way. Music becomes a thinking game. It becomes like chess, which is a cool game. But a kid playing air guitar who doesn't know anything about the academics of music is enjoying himself. Most learned musicians aren't. And why do it if it's not enjoyable? Because if it's not enjoyable to you, it's probably not going to be to the listener either. So basically, I'm trying to get people back to the air guitar stage. Exactly like if a piece of music comes on, a good piece of music, the person who knows nothing about the music will allow that music to enter their body, and their body will start moving. You don't have to make it move to the groove. Now, a musician, if I say, hey, let's just play, and we're supposed to know all this stuff about music, I say, hey, let's just play. The musician has to ask questions first. You got to ask, okay, what key is it in? What's the groove like? Okay. So all these questions, and so we're waiting to make this connection with music, where the person who knows nothing, all they got to do is hear it, and the connection is made. So that's a kid playing air guitar. That's a woman dancing. I want to get people back to that, because it's hard not to dance with a smile on your face. A kid playing air guitar will definitely have a smile on their face. The musician has to concentrate. And I'm wondering, why is that? I want to be free like a kid when I play. Even with all this stuff I know, how can we get back to that? So in explaining it through music, it's very, very easy to make that same connection to life. In life, we get caught up in work, making that money, right? And we forget that childlike, the kid who's playing with a stick, has no money, but has a smile on their face, still knows how to use their imagination. And all these fun things. The world is a beautiful place to a child. Now, I want to bring back some of the mystery, some of the love, and some of the joy. So instead of just attacking life right on in this book, I do it through music.
What are these bass nature camps, and what do campers learn?
I call it a bass/nature camp because we use nature as a guideline. Most musicians close off nature and we get in the woodshed and practice by ourselves for hours, and we feel that the more hours I practice, the better I'm going to get. Well, I've never met a musician that didn't agree that music was a language. So if music is a language, I'm going to say, how good are you going to get at a language in a room by yourself? If you do get good, it's going to take you probably 10, 15 years, maybe 20, and you're going to come out speaking with a heavy accent. But if you get out in the world and talk to people, live life, you can learn that language in 2 years. And that's the proof, because our babies do it all the time. They speak English or whatever language by 2. So why does music have to take, many, many years? And I believe it's the process. We're not following the natural process. And then when somebody does follow that process, we call them a natural. And we all want to be natural at whatever it is we're doing. And the word natural means to be like nature. Having the characteristics of nature is what the dictionary says. So how can you become like nature in a room? Practicing. You have to get out in life. You have to share with people. You have to take and give from people. You have to have a story to tell. A language comes quickly to a kid because he has something to say. A baby learns to say milk because he's thirsty. Most of us musicians aren't thirsty. We just want to learn some techniques and some notes, right? But once you have something to say and you get out into the world where you have an opportunity to say it, everything you need to use that language shows up on its own, right? And you can cut out, not that the lessons in the rule books aren't important, but you don't need them as much. The same way in English, we speak for 5 or 6 years before we learn the rules. And I think music should be approached the same way.
Doesn't mean one of us is wrong.